Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do a cartridge review today on the 222 Remington, the triple deuce. Stay tuned. All right, the year was 1950. Remington came out with its 222 Remington, and it was quite the cartridge, and it took the bench-rest world by storm, and varmint hunters loved it. Now, the cool story about the 222 is not so much its performance versus modern day cartridges, or even its performance as far as high velocity and energy back in those days. The 220 Swift was much faster. Today, the 22-250, the 22 Creedmoor, they're much faster. Even the 223 is faster. So the thing about the 222 was never its speed, but its accuracy. And that's one thing that you'll hear, a common denominator in anyone who's owned a 222, it's accurate. One of my uncles owned a 222, and I personally know some people who have either owned a 222 or still own one. And everyone brags about how accurate they are. Like I said, this cartridge became the cartridge in the bench rest scene in the 50s, and really was only dethroned by the PPC cartridges whenever they came out. But once again, the thing about this cartridge that really makes it stand out and makes it worth talking about today is its heritage. It's what we call a parent case. It had no parent. So a lot of times, a cartridge company will take a rifle cartridge like a 30-06. They'll simply neck it up or neck it down to different cartridges, and that's a very easy way to produce a 35 Whelen or a 270 Winchester if you're looking at the 30-06 as an example. So a lot of new cartridges are just simply necked up or necked down versions. Other times you'll take the case, but you'll lengthen it and then change the caliber and do some minor adjustments. A parent case is just that. It had no parent. It's a unique design from Remington and Mike Walker in 1950. Many cartridges have been based off of it, so it has become the parent case of many cartridges that we know today. And its most famous child, of course, is the 223 or the 5.56. Now, just a side note for any new shooter or someone that's, doesn't know a whole lot about rifle cartridges, this naming convention of 222, 223, 22-250, the name really doesn't mean a whole lot. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it has a legit meaning, like 30-30 means it's a 30 caliber bullet, 30 grains of black powder. But a lot of times it's just a name. So all of your 22 caliber cartridges shoot the same bullet, a 22 caliber bullet. And in inches, that's .224. So it doesn't shoot a 222, and the 223 doesn't shoot a 223. They all shoot .224 bullets. It's just a way to denote the name and to differentiate the case from other cases, because it's really the case that makes the cartridge unique. But many cartridges have came from this parent case, including the 17 Remington, the 221 Remington Fireball, the 17 Remington Fireball, the 222 Remington Magnum, the 223 as previously stated, or the 5.56 version of it, and also the 204 Ruger, which comes from the 222 Remington Magnum. So you might be watching this and you might really not care about the 222, but maybe you're a big fan of AR-15s and you love shooting the 223. And so just be aware that the 222 is its parent case. In fact, in the 1950s, 222 had been out, very popular in the varmint scene and in the bench rest scene. But the military was looking to upgrade from its M14 service rifle to something with a little bit smaller, lighter bullet and ammo. Of course, we know what it would become now would be the M16. And so as companies are trying to develop this new cartridge for this new service rifle, Remington actually had two that they were working on, but both of them came from the 222. They took the 222 case and they lengthened it a little bit, made a few minor adjustments, and it became the 222 Remington Magnum. They also lengthened it, but not as much. You know, gave it a little bit shorter neck, a little bit longer body though. A few minor adjustments, and called it the 223, or as it would be known later, the 223. And so both of these cartridges were really developed from the 222 to win that military contract. Now we know the 222 Remington Magnum did not win that contract, but in fact it was that 5.56. So around 1957, 1958, those two cartridges also had a civilian market release. So that's its heritage. That's some of the cartridges that are very famous today. In fact, the 223 is the most prolific, popular, available, and common centerfire rifle cartridge in the world. All right, a 55 grain bullet in a 22 Hornet. You're gonna top out at around 2,400 feet per second. 55 grain bullet in a 222 Remington, much faster. It's going to get around 3,100. And a 55 grain bullet in the 223 is going to get more like 3,300. And just for the heck of it, let's see what a 55 grain bullet in a 222 Remington Magnum would get. Also around 3,300. However, you could probably push it a little bit further because of that extra case capacity. Now, like I said, the 222 was never this amazingly fast cartridge compared to the 220 Swift back in the day, or nowadays compared to the 22 Remington. It's not its claim to fame. Its claim to fame is unbelievably long barrel life. I don't know if you could burn out a barrel. Very low recoil, fun to shoot, and once again, it's accurate. Now, the only centerfire cartridge I can think of that would meet that same criteria, but be even more so, not on the accuracy end, but as far as barrel life, recoil, would be the 22 Hornet. The 22 Hornet's like half the size of the 222, therefore even less recoil, unlimited barrel life pretty much. But the 22 Hornet's half the powder capacity to the 222. And so you're going to get much more velocity from the 222. So in 1950, this triple deuce was a major improvement over the 22 Hornet, yet not trying to be a great Magnum. Still a fun, light recoiling round to shoot. It's going to fit right in the middle, you know, of the 22 Hornet and the 223 when it comes to distance on game that it's viable at, and its velocity, though it's going to be much closer to the 223 than it would be the 22 Hornet. The original 222 came out in the Remington Model 722, the short action version of that, you know, series that was the predecessor to the Model 700. Of course, it later came out the next decade in all the Model 700s, you know, that it could be. And even to this day, though it's definitely uncommon, you can still go online, you can still purchase some ammo, it's limited. Some brass is still available. I know Starline makes brass for it. So it's not a dead cartridge. But the reason it's not so common today, and the reason it lost out back in the 50s, is from its, you know, child, the 223, and from its own company, Remington. So like we said, in developing this cartridge for the military, they came out with just a little bit beefier, faster cartridge in the 223. Longer case body holding more powder with a little bit shorter neck. Didn't feel like that you really need the super long neck, so they shortened the neck a little bit, gave you more case capacity. And then because of the popularity of the AR-15, and because of, you know, this surplus of ammo that's out there because of it being in the M16, it just became overwhelmingly popular, easy to get, cheap to buy ammo for, cheap to hand load for. And it's really doing everything the 222 is doing with just a little bit more velocity. I mean, what's the point really of the 222? And for anyone out there who has a 223, which by the way is still an accurate cartridge, is there a reason to go back to the 222? Well, probably not, unless you just want a cool classic cartridge, or if you admire the fact that it is the parent case and that the design that went into that cartridge and of its lineage that it left. But also I would say, all things being equal, the 222 probably has a slight edge on accuracy. It just is one of those cartridges that you hear people talk about that's just inherently accurate. It's been fun today to talk about the 222, the triple deuce. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Many more videos like this are coming out. Share this video if you feel like it's worthy of sharing. Comment below, do you have a 222? Have you shot a 222? Or what's your just feelings on the parent case and its lineage that it's left? Check the description. There's several links below that you might want to click on. Hopefully you've had a great day, and until next time, take care.